What it is, it's your boy, Dutch the Damon, and you now watching Damon Time with Dutch. On today's episode of Prison Stories Uncut, we trapped up Hagerstown on that farm with it, but this time we in that castle, MCIH, the old jail. Now, this situation took place over 20 some odd years ago. I was trapped in that castle, and during these years, that old jail was real ruthless. Medium security prison. A lot of dudes in there with tall numbers, you feel me? But anyway, I remember at this time, I had a position within the Good Brothers to where as though I was in charge of the workout routine, right? So we had big yard on this day, so all the brothers had to come out mandatory workout this day, right? Now how I had it where as though it was mandatory to work out 3 days out the week. And I think it was like Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. They was mandatory workout days. Because I know Wednesday was mandatory study, and Friday we had to serve, we went up to the classes. And on Sunday we held our meetings back then. Saturday was pretty much a free day. Go on your visits, do whatever you want to do. You get to visit any day of the week. That's the only thing that will get you out of a mandatory situation where it's mandatory workout, mandatory meeting. You got to visit, go see your family. But anyway, now this was before the big brothers stopped everybody from working out together as a unit, right? Because nowadays, if you in the joint, they tell you work out in groups, maybe groups of 5, but don't know 90-something people all work out together. But this was before them times. So we was all working out together at this time, right? So we come out in the yard, we make a big circle in the yard. I stand in the middle of the circle to lead the workout. So we go through that, push-ups, jumping jacks, leg raises, all kind of shit, just working out. All calisthenics, no weights on this day, right? All right, bam. So the brothers get it in, we come back feeling good, you know what I mean? So when they call the yard, 5 minutes before the yard closed, all the brothers group up, get together, and we leave the yard in a pack. So all the brothers got to get on that count. We're going to count all the brothers to make sure everybody here and everybody leave out the yard together. That's just what we do. And we stash them blicks in the ground out there, leave them out there in the yard. About 10, 15 blicks, stash them down in the ground. Then we go back in the building. But we keep some out there in the yard just in case something jump off and we can't, they patting you down before you come in the yard. So we always got weapons in the yard. But sometimes you'll see them come out there with that metal detector and dig them out. But anyway, all the brothers, we walking together, going back towards the buildings, leaving out the yard, right? But it ain't just us. All the organizations do this. Everybody group up before they leave out the yard and walk together, right? Now, on my tier, I'm already knowing it's a Spanish dude that came on the tier. Say he was from like New York or something like that, right? But the first day he get on the tier, off the break, he start running with the Bloods. So at first we assumed he was on the red team, right? We come find out later on, probably like a week later on, we find out he one of the Latin Kings, right? Ain't hardly no Latin Kings in Maryland or Baltimore that I know of. Could be some scattered, but he was coming from New York. So anyway, we leaving out the yard, he walking with the red team. Now right behind the red team is the MS-13. You feel me? We walk in a line, but it's groups in that line. So you might got the Good Brothers walking in the front, the DMI walking in the back, the blue team, the red team, we walking in groups but in a line. So the MS is behind the red team. But we noticing that the MS, they yelling out some shit to the Spanish dude. I have no clue what they were saying to this man, but I knew it was some bullshit. By the way they was sounding, they was saying some Spanish stuff to him, right? And he took offense to it because he was throwing signs at him, right? He went hard. He was definitely banging. He definitely was throwing signs at him. But he was running with the red team, all black guys. So I'm already knowing what they saying to him in my head. They got to be saying something on the lines like, basically, what the fuck is you doing over there with them niggas? Because you know the MS-13, they make everything about race with them. It's everything is about race. And it ain't just them, all Spanish gangs move like that. They turn every situation into a racial situation. This way, if they get into it with the big bad black gangs, they pull every Spanish person on location into that beef that don't got nothing to do with it for the numbers. But anyway, their program up there was if you were Spanish, you had to rock with them or else. So they don't really gang bang, they race bang. It's a difference. But Slim wasn't going for it. Slim was saying something in Spanish back to them and throwing up big signs at them. But because it was mass movement, ain't nothing jump off. And plus he had the red team with him, right? So they wasn't about to run up on him, I guess. So they talk their little shit. We get back in the building. We go to our rightful tiers, right? Just so happened. The Spanish boy, he sleep on my tier with the red team dudes that's on my tier. But all the MS-13 dudes that slept on my tier, They had got sent out to prison like a month ago for hitting that dude that I made the story about. Y'all want to know about that story? Go back through my videos, right? I think that video was titled, "He Should Have Listened." But anyway, it wasn't none of them MS-13 dudes on my tier. They was on the other tiers, right? So we get on the tier, we lock in, sit in the cell for a few hours. I'm in that bitch cleaning up. That's what I like to do. I'm in the cell cleaning up, tidying up. Then the CO come over the loudspeaker saying they going to pop cells, letting dudes out to go to commissary, right? Because in the old jail, the commissary is in the basement. You got to go all the way down in the basement and walk around that tunnel, turn right and go in that commissary and get your stuff, right? So to make a long story short, they popped my cell for commissary. But my tier is the last tier to go out for commissary. We thought they wasn't going to call us. We thought we were going to have to go the next day, right? But they slid us in there and let us go to commissary. So me and my guys, we mobbing down to the commissary. I remember my boy Liver was walking with me. Long live Liver, man. Rest in peace, Liver, man. Good brother. Slim, you know what I'm saying? Me and him and a few other brothers walking down to the commissary, right? And you know us, we got our net bags for the food. We got our blicks for the action, you dig? So we always ready. Now, if you know anything about that castle, it's steps to go everywhere. You got to go down these long steps, right? And when we get to the steps, we notice once we got to like the third set of steps, because it's a long stairwell, once we got to like the third set of steps, we noticed all these MS-13 dudes hanging on the steps, standing on the steps. Now, we already know that's not allowed in prison. You can't hang on the steps, but they was mobbing on the steps like 15 deep, right? And we can tell they was up with something. But we knew they wasn't fucking with us. So we walked straight through that shit. We come down the stairs, they was looking at us, we walked straight through that shit. But they was still letting dudes out for commissary on the tier, so it was people coming behind us. Long story short, the red team was coming behind us, right? So when the red team get to the steps, when they get to the third set of steps, they got the Latin King dudes with them. He walking with them. So when we hit the bottom of the steps, me and my guys, that's when we hear the commotion and all the Spanish stuff that they were saying and yelling out. So we stop at the bottom of the steps, turn and look up, right? The MS-13 done made a circle around the Latin King dude, right? The Latin King dude, man, I'm talking about, went off, whipped out 2 blicks. Now, remind you, he was walking with the red team, but the red team really left him hanging. I ain't even gonna lie. When they made that circle around Slim, all of them backed up and like tried to walk past it, like, man, we ain't got nothing to do with that. The whole time he was just mobbing with y'all. But anyway, Slim whipped out them 2 blicks and went for broke. I'm talking about broke.